Hey guys, if you are an agency owner, coach, or consultant, then you landed on the right video, right? Now, the title of this video is, as you can see, why you are not where you want to be in your business, right? Or in layman terms, why the fuck you still broke, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, if you're an agency owner, coach, or consultant, like I mentioned before, and you've recently launched your business or you've been running your business for a while now, and you're stuck in one place for a long time, then this question that I mentioned to you before may be a question that you may be thinking about a lot. You're probably wondering why you're not making the money that you want to be making, why a lot of the things in your business are not the way that you want them to be, and why you're not having the freedom that you want, and things like that. A lot of self-doubt may rampage your brain. I wanted to make this video for you guys, right? For the guys that are going through this rampage of self-doubt. I want to share with you a framework or guide or whatever you want to call it to go over how you can analyze your current situation and create a plan to scale your business fast, right? I'll also go over how you can implement immediately an action checklist, if you want to call it that, so that this video is not just a bunch of theory, right? So with that being said, let's get into it, right? In life, in business, everybody has this, right? That is the current situation, and then that is the desired situation that you want to get to. The current situation is pretty much the current reality, right? And the desired situation is your goal reality. But there is something in between that's preventing you from getting to your dream situation or desired situation. And that is a wall of challenges, right? This is my best illustration. I know it looks gorgeous, right? Now, these are challenges or bottlenecks, if you may want to call it that are existing currently in your life and or your business, right? I'm just going to be talking about businesses in general for this video because I'm not a life coach, right? So what are the bottlenecks that are existing right now in your business or agency that is preventing you from getting to your desired situation? This is something that you want to ask yourself. Now, with that in mind, let's ask ourselves, why do most agency owners never scale to upper six figures and or upper seven figures and eight figures? Why is it that they are broke? 90% of this agency space, in my opinion, is actually broke. It's filled with brokies. While 90% may not be statistically accurate, it should serve as a metaphor to say that a majority of the agency owners, so-called business owners out there in this SMMA space, are broke. And the reason why they're broke is because of three core things, in my opinion. Number one, mindset. A mindset as a CEO or business owner is crap. It's limited. Number two, lack of prospecting, right? There is a lack of new conversations with people who can actually pay you money, right? So there is no creation of new sales pipeline. Number three is ops. It pretty much sucks. It's either because of all these three things, or one of these three things, or two of these three things, right? It can be any combination. Now, the thing is, let's start one by one, right? Let's start with the mind. fixing the mind, that is. As they say, the mind is a weapon. It can be used against you, or it can be used by you as well. It can be used for you in your benefit. Now, if you're an agency owner, a new one, that is, this is your first business or something like that, then what I'm talking to you might apply to you at a much greater level, right? The reason why you're not scaling can be you yourself, right? With new agency owners or business owners, right, the challenge is that they are transitioning from the 9 to 5 mentality, right? The employee mentality. They're transitioning from the employee mentality, and they're trying to adopt the mentality of a business owner. What might have worked for them as an employee might not work for them as a business owner or entrepreneur. You have to work through the self-doubt, the tendencies of procrastination, laziness, and demotivation to actually triumph in business, achieve the goals that you have set forth for yourself, right? It's not as simple as punching the clock in when you come in for work and then, you pretty much punch out, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's not just a matter of showing up and showing out. It's a matter of actually putting in the work to scale. Now, let's talk about tactics, right? We've talked about mindset. I've gone over an overview, right? You have to work through the self-doubt and the employee mindset, right? You got to transition out of that. Do what you got to do. May that be have to take some courses or mentorships or coaching programs or whatever it has to be, right? Or you got to meditate every single day. You got to say affirmations to yourself, things like that. Do whatever you got to do to start transitioning from the employee mentality to a business owner mindset, right? I'll make a much more detailed video on that later, but for now, let's move on, right? Let's talk about running a current business situation out, right? A SITREP. Now, clarity is the first step towards achieving progress. And you got to analyze what is actually going on in your business first. What is your current situation, right? What is your current sales pipeline looking like? How are you generating attention, acquiring new leads? Where are your current clients coming in from right now? That is, if you have clients already. Who's handling your operations? Is it just you, or do you have a team? How's that team performing? How are your standard operating procedures looking like? Is the talent or staff that you hire good, actually good? Do they do a decent or great job? Are they great? Or where are you getting your candidates from? Is there any software or management systems that you have in place to manage everything efficiently? These are just a few questions to getting started, right? That you can ask yourself to figure out whether you're running a proper business or not, to figure out what the fuck is actually going on currently with your business. The answers to these questions should give you an idea of where your weaknesses currently are at and what your strengths are also as well, right? Your objective should be to fix all the bottlenecks that exist in your business one by one step at a time. This will prevent any overload, right? Because you have only finite resources at hand, may that be time or energy or labor or even capital, right? It's finite. So you got to deploy it efficiently. Now, with that in mind, let's go over fixing your operational constraints. Every business has this operational constraints, right? These are constraints that are preventing you from scaling to where you want to be, right? So from current situation to desired situation, right? This is not only true for business, but it's also true for life in general as well. You're not able to pack on muscle. The constraint may be a protein intake and how your workout is structured, right? Not able to run 5 miles at once. The constraint may be your stamina. The question is, when it comes to business, how exactly do you fix these constraints? You look at your current business situation and you view all the bottlenecks or challenges, right, that are going on right now, and then create action steps to fix every challenge one by one, right? Always do them one by one. Don't do everything at once. Don't try to do everything at once because that's just going to overload you and fuck everything up, right? The common problems that agency owners face when it comes to scaling are, as you might already know, marketing and operations, right? Common bottlenecks. It's either marketing or ops or both, right? Marketing to generate more leads, more sales, and clients, right? Which means dollar bills, revenue. Operations means you gotta have a well-oiled operational machine that enables you to deliver good results for all your clients without you having to do everything, right? If you're the one who's doing everything, then you're a freelancer technically, right? You're not running a business. It's just a glorified job, right? To fix all marketing constraints, have to first look at your current advertising and prospecting strategy. Right? Audit your current advertising and prospecting strategy. My handwriting is ugly, but bear with me, right? Review your finances first as well, right? If you have a ton of money, then you can go for ads. You got a bunch of money that you can drop on ads, then go straight for ads, invest in them, and you can scale from there. Or if you're just starting out, then you need to first use outbound to scale your client acquisition. What I would do is I would implement a hybrid approach to it. I would use both scale outbound systems and scale paid advertising systems so that I have both an inbound deal flow system and an outbound deal flow generation system as well, right? There are further breakdowns as well to determine whether the existing client acquisition processes that you have are functioning optimally or not, right? Such as open rate, reply rate, and meeting booking rate. This is for cold outbound, right? I'll call it CO. For paid advertising, it can be click-through rate, opt-in rate, and things like that, right? Reviewing every valuable metric and then analyzing a plan to fix that metric and executing that plan is a recommended approach to growth. That's what I would do, right? So solving the marketing part starts with reverse engineering your income or revenue target, right? You start with how many clients you want to get, right? Start with your revenue goal. Let's say you want to make 10,000, right? As an example. And each client pays you 2K per month. So that means you need 5 clients, right? And for 5 clients, you may need 25 booked appointments at 20% closing ratio, right? At 20% closing ratio, you may need 25 appointments to get 5 clients that pay 2K per month each. And for these 25 appointments, you got to review how many outbound messages or how much ad spend that you got to put in, right? And then what type of infrastructure is needed for that type of ad spend or outreach volume for it to be effective, right? You need a proper infrastructure in place as well for the ad spend or outreach volume to convert effectively into book calls and sign clients, right? Analyzing all this is key. If you don't do this, scaling will be just a pipe dream, right? Now, when we look at operations, right? Operations is the next thing. When we look at operations, in my opinion, operational capacity is equal to how many clients we can bring in, how many clients you can bring in without reducing the quality of results that you bring in for your clients. This is what I call as operational capacity, right? So if I put a graph, right? Let me make this a little bit more straight. Damn it. Yeah, there we go. So this is your number of clients, and this is the results that you bring in, right? So yeah, we gotta swap it out. Results in the y-axis and number of clients in the x-axis. So it usually is, when it comes to businesses, right? It's a dropping curve, right? Because the more clients they bring on, the lesser results they're able to bring in across the board, because they're facing some problems with their operations and they're not able to deliver results, great results all across the board, right? This is not something that you want in your business. What you want instead should be a steady graph, right? Consistent results for your clients, or better yet, it should be an upward curve, right? It can be an upward curve because when you bring in more clients, you have more capital at hand. You can leverage that capital to get better talent, to get better resources, to get better systems and softwares and tools in place for your clients to get better results at the end of the day, right? Leading to better customer satisfaction and more income for yourself as well. Now, the moment adding a new client means that the results that you generate start diminishing, then that means, like I mentioned before, you're at full capacity. And that itself can be your bottleneck or constraint depending on your revenue that these clients are bringing in for you and how that compares to your targets or goals. Another important thing to consider when it comes to operations is how much of your active involvement as a founder or CEO is needed, right? Do you need to wake up every single day and work every single waking hour of the day to, ensure that your business is running smoothly. If that's the case, then you don't have a business. When you got a business, you have a glorified job, like I mentioned before earlier. How do you fix this constraint, right? If we really boil down the constraints to a few key aspects, it's usually these things, right? It's the amount of active involvement that is needed from you, and then it's the quality of results being delivered, and it's the talent you have at hand, the people in your team, right? How good they are. The third point is something that affects both point number 1 and point number 2, right? It affects these two things as well, right? The better talent you have, the lesser active involvement is needed, and the better the quality of results delivered. So a cool thing is that the better results in deliver, like I mentioned before, the more clients you can get, because the customer satisfaction is higher, you get more referrals, which leads to more cash in the bank for you. Now, to achieve operational excellence, meaning operational excellence is defined as, at least according to me, minimum business active involvement in the business, right? The least amount of active involvement in the business as possible in the day-to-day operations, that is, right? That is what I define as operational excellence. And to achieve that operational excellence, there are a couple of forms of leverage that you can use, right? Alex Hormozy as well talks about this. We already covered the first one, right? Which is labor, right? It's like a pyramid of hierarchy, right? Or whatever you want to call it. Let me make this a little bit more prettier. I will not stop until it looks pretty. Okay, now it's pretty. Sub-wireless. Now we got labor at the bottom, and then as you go a little bit above, you got the capital, and then you got core, and then you got media, which is brand and things like that. Content, brand, things like that. These are the forms of leverage that he talks about. Now, we talked about talent on labor already, right? Human resources. It's the lowest form of leverage, but you still need it though, because business at the end of the day is an exchange between one human and another human, right? So the others are capital, code, and media, like I talked about before. Code being software, AI, automations, and so on. If you have capital, you can use that capital to get better labor, right? To get better labor, to get better code, and to get better media as well. Capital is something that affects everything across the board positively, right? Money doesn't hurt. So if you have code in place, then you can reduce your dependency on human labor and increase efficiency. This is because, as you might already know, machines work more efficiently than humans, and because components like rest and emotions don't affect them. This is a double-edged sword at times, because there are instances in business where you need the human element present as well. So, in summary, the reason why you're not where you want to be in business is because of three key things. It can be boiled down to three key things. Either your mind isn't in the right place, your mindset is weak, and your outlook on entrepreneurship is not optimal, or whatever you want to call that, or you have a marketing problem, or you have an operational problem, or you have both at the same time, right? So, if you can fix them, then you can achieve your business goal. With that being said, hope this video was useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.